Live.
Bannitime Foods here, and I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite breakfasts. It's called the Spanish omelet. Once again, Marco Pure White, learned it from him. Shout out to him. If he ever gets a hold of these videos, I watch a lot of his videos, and now I'm making videos of my own inspiration. So, Idaho potatoes, just very simple. Onion, whatever onion you want, shallot, onion, whatever. I got, this is for 2 people, so I got 5 eggs, 2 potatoes, 1 for me, 1 for her. Half an onion I'm gonna use. This is a little bit of parsley here, paprika. And this is the oil I use. I reuse this oil because you use a lot of oil for this because you're basically gonna almost deep fry it. But I don't throw it away. Once I strain it, I put it in one of these and I put it in the fridge because not only is it flavored, but it's reusable, you know, so I like to reuse it so I don't throw it away, especially in this time right now in COVID-19. And it just smells really good. It smells nice and flavored. So I'll just go ahead and dump that right into the pan. All of it. Just all of it into the pan. Sometimes I even have to add to it. You really want a lot because you're going to be deep frying this
Your
stuff.
mom joined. Say hi.
Hey, Mom. She's doing this. So I'll just go ahead and cut this onion in half. For 2 people, I use only half an onion and 2 potatoes. So. Simple recipe. The hardest
Hey,
part.
Demi.
The hardest part about this recipe is just shaping the omelet. So I'll just rough cut this onion, kind of thick, because if you cut it too thin, what happens is it'll cook too fast. So I'll just rough cut. Rough cut is fun. We'll take all of that and put it in here. And then I'll go ahead and take my potatoes and then I'll just peel it. Unless you like the peel, you can leave the peel on. All these little black little spots, just go ahead and hit that right off. Don't have to cut it off. You can use whatever potato you want. I typically just use, what's available, what's fresh. I typically like the Yukon Golds, but these are just Idaho russets. And I think Idaho potatoes are pretty much the best you can use. Use them for everything. Use them for this, use them for mashed potatoes. At night, you can take that mashed potato, you can put a little bit of flour in it and make some potato pancakes in the morning with a fried egg. You can do a lot with these potatoes. I usually buy a whole bag of potatoes just so I have it on deck. And if you put them with apples, they don't sprout as fast and your apples don't ripen as fast, so they kind of work together. If you want to store them nice, you just put them in a crate together. All right, so we got these peeled, and I cut it in half. Just cut it in half here, and then I just do just as wide as I cut the onions. So you're gonna be frying it, and if you get it too thick, what happens is you won't have it cooked. So it's about yay wide. And just right into there with the onion. And people ask me, what do I make for my friends for breakfast when they come over and visit me? You cook, you do all this and you do all that. This is pretty much what I'll make every time. 90% of the time, if my friends come over, unless Joel, James, and Ian, and all my friends, Neil, Danny, Tyson.
Hey, Tyson just joined.
Shout out to all of them. If I ever make breakfast for them, it's usually a chili omelet, but you know, for everyone else, it's a Spanish omelet. And so here I roughly chopped half an onion, and I got a potato that's chopped also. So just onion and potato I have in here right now. So I'll go 50-50. As much potato as there is onion. So it looks like I can just go ahead and add this last potato I don't want to waste. So 2 people are eating, I got 2 potatoes going. So just chopping this potato as wide as I chop the onion. In with that, alright. Our oil is heating up over here. Once that heats up, then I just like to break all these potatoes apart because once you get it in the pan, you don't really want it to stick. You want this oil to be really hot too, because what happens is you're gonna blanch it instead of fry it. So very important that this is hot, because if it's not hot, this potato will just soak all that oil in, and then you're just gonna eat a bunch of grease, and no one likes to eat that. Get heartburn after your breakfast. So the way that I check to see if this is ready, obviously if it's smoking, it's too hot. So I have this on pretty high because when I throw these in, it's going to actually take down the temperature of the whole pan. So you want to be a little bit hotter than you actually would cook in the beginning, because you really, really want to just crisp that outside instantly.
Demi's asking you what type of oil you use.
Just vegetable oil. Canola oil is good. You know, most of the time vegetable oil is soybean, which I don't really like too much because it's mass produced. Peanut oil is really good. I think peanut oil might give you the best flavor, but it has high cholesterol, I hear. But typically I'll just buy just the Crisco vegetable oil. I know it sounds bad, but you can use, you know, grapeseed oil, any frying oil. So grapeseed oil, vegetable oil, canola oil probably would be your healthiest alternative for frying. But
you use that mostly because it's like you have to use a lot of oil for this particular dish. You don't usually cook with that oil.
Yeah, and that's why I use. And I'll show
and
you.
Tyson says peanuts is go-to oil.
Yeah, peanut oil is the most tasty. It's got the best flavor. But you know, Crisco, sometimes I just grab it off the shelf, and you know, it gives you that flavor, that nostalgic flavor that you're kind of used to growing up. You know, baking brownies and putting this in there, you know, or whatever you got. So just wait for this to heat up. And while that's heating up, I can go ahead and crack my eggs, because I want my eggs to be about room temperature. That's why I have them left out right here. And you can crack them. The stuff that hurts you, like the E. coli that you get sick from eggs, they're only on the shell. So as long as you crack the eggs into the bowl, you're not going to get sick if that gets to room temp. So I'll just leave that out and let that get to room temp.
Tyson's out. He said keep it up.
Thank you, Tyson. So this is almost there. Sometimes I have my pan on too hot, so I'm talking to the camera, and so that's like not hot enough yet. So while that's warming up, I'll go ahead and chop my parsley too. This is what I use for the topping. So I use paprika and parsley. I like to keep everything very, very simple. So this being a Spanish omelet, I like to use paprika, and I actually go through a lot of paprika because recipes over there, any cream recipe, any fish recipe, you could throw paprika in and it just like gives it that it just intensifies the flavor. It also gives you that kind of like chili flavor that you're really looking for. Stroganoff, most of the time, it really makes stroganoff really good. So I'll just go ahead and chop this parsley up while my pan's heating up here. Just a rough chop. And I can feel the heat coming off of this, so it looks like it's getting there. Yeah, so that's... When you start to see a little bit of that smoke come out, that's when you really know that it's ready to go. Because you want it to be really nice and hot. So that's not good, that's not good yet. So to my eggs over here, I'll just add a little bit of salt, just to flavor my eggs. When I say a little bit, I like to add a lot of salt, so. You want to add salt to your eggs because the eggs are going to be around all the potato and all the onion. So you want to flavor the eggs because that's going to be what's going to encapsulate all the good stuff. So it looks like we're just about ready to go here. And this is when my fiance gets really mad at me because I make a mess in the kitchen doing this. So you want to get a spatula, whatever favorite spatula you like. This one can't really get under a pan as well as this one because you can bend this, and that's one of the best part about molding this omelet, because this is not really good for an omelet. It's really good for like maybe scrambled eggs. But if you really want to get, finessed, you use the plastic. Okay, so this is gonna go in here. And I'm a lefty, so I'm gonna toss this in right in there. So that's good. That's what we want.
Yeah, you can see the smoke coming out.
Keep that even there. It looks like a lot of oil, but you want to get your oil really hot because that's what's going to keep it out from the potato. So I'm not going to touch that. I'll let it sit, but I'll kind of play around with it here and let it sit for about 2 minutes. I like to use chopsticks when I do this too. It'll be a reoccurring thing that I use chopsticks for everything because it's just it's bamboo, and it also you can do a lot of finite little things. Like if I wanted to grab one potato right here, I can just flip that potato in. So we got our eggs over here. We're serving 2, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs, and we just mix those up. And now that we have these potatoes and eggs out of here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to...
Oh, your mom. Oh, shoot. I'm supposed to be in a meeting right now. Looks good. Gotta go. Say bye.
All right. Bye, Mom. Thanks for tuning in. Just whisking our eggs here. That looks like it's getting a little... You don't want to blanch it, you want to fry it, so you want to get this hot. So you got to make sure you keep an eye on this. And when it looks like it's just boiling, it's not really good. You want it to like really kind of sizzle. And you can go kind of by sound, by sight, smell. You can use all your senses to really...
And notice how dirty the stove is.
It's a good thing we have flat top. So,
Seriously.
you got flames, this would be like kind of flaming everywhere probably too, so not a good time, but let that go a little bit. Yeah, when you're gonna be doing anything, really, this is like the oatmeal of breakfast or what have you. I mean, this is like the best breakfast you can have. After you eat this, you're gonna feel so good to do anything. This with coffee, I mean, eggs and potatoes and onion, the simplicity of it and all that fat, the simplicity of it is one, but then you're just gonna have so much energy for the whole day. And it really fills you up because the potatoes in there. And they wonder like, oh wow, how did you make potatoes so fast? Or there's potatoes in these eggs. It's like, yeah, fry the potatoes up real quick, good to go. So you'll notice in here, you want to flip these every now and again because the top might not look brown, but the bottoms are getting brown. So that's why I like to use chopsticks to get in here. And this is live, so this is live cooking time too. So you don't really want to rush this. You don't want to get it too hot because what happens is the onions will burn and the potatoes won't cook, or vice versa, or what have you, and just not a good time. You want to get it to about 350, 400 degrees oil temp. Probably 400 degrees oil temp. Making sure that these potatoes aren't stuck together and stuff. Not really bad if I move it around. Hope everyone's doing good on this quarantine. We got shut down, I think today. So we're not allowed to go anywhere unless it's for a good cause.
Yeah, today's our first official day of lockdown in Arizona. And we happened to go to the grocery store the day before we found that out.
That was great timing on that.
Crazy.
So I'm gonna stop fiddling with that. I'm just gonna let that sit for a second.
So this has definitely been longer than 2 minutes.
Depending on your cut, the thickness. I don't like to rush anything either. You'll notice when it's done, see I flipped that right there a little bit. You can tell once it gets brown, you don't want to burn the onions. So just make sure that right when it's brown, you take it out. Because as soon as you burn the onions, it kind of ruins the whole dish because then it gets kind of bitter and doesn't really taste really good. But
So we're getting there.
we're getting there. And in my sink, I have a strainer ready for me. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it, then I'm going to put it back in my jar. So I have my little system here. And I'm just gonna literally pour it in the strainer and then that jar is gonna be under it. There's probably a better system. I just don't like to dirty that many dishes. I have my eggs in here, so I could have probably done it in here, but I have my eggs in there right now, so. Just about there. And like I said, this is probably, besides the chili omelet that I always ate with, James, Joel, Ian, Neil, Michael, Danny, Tyson, everyone. I mean, shoot. Chili omelets, bacon, eggs, and hash browns. That's what we see. This is like a, and I didn't think there was anything else on the planet that can beat those. I mean, what's better than bacon, eggs, and hash browns? Where's my drink? I got my coffee here. For the kids. What's better than bacon, eggs, and hash browns, you say? Maybe a chili omelet? Or maybe a Spanish omelet? Because these are pretty good. I recommend trying this recipe after I'm done showing you. Like I said, this is real time footage here. We're getting there. Just about to the part where I add the eggs. I can tell the potatoes are crisping up nice. The smell is different too. I like to cook with how it smells too, like when I'm cooking my ground beef with the onions and garlic. I wait till it gets that really sweet moment, and then I either drain it or add the tomatoes or whatever to it, wine or whatever.
It's definitely golden.
Where's our golden?
Oh, no.
There's our golden.
Hi, Rue. What you doing? Just gotta go get a toy.
This is my tasting panel.
What you think? Oh, he's gotta find the perfect one.
He's very picky. He doesn't like anything but meat.
What you gonna pick, Rue?
I thought you just didn't like my
Oh,
cooking.
he's gonna pick the pineapple. Oh. Hi, Kiki. What you doing?
And there's our pest control. Keeps the rats out of the kitchen, keeps the
Hi.
spiders,
What you doing?
ants out, flies. Everyone has a job, right?
Oh. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I know.
Kiki!
He's a very talkative guy.
And it happens pretty quick. Look at this. See how it's already getting brown? So I'm probably going to take it out right now. Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. I took that out. And I got over here my jar. Make sure you got warm water on so it drains down your the drain easier. And then we'll just, and because this strainer is, you know, cylindrical, it's kind of got that end point on the bottom. And what I'll do is I'll turn this off. And I gotta wipe the bottom, it's very important. Or else
Use this, babe.
I get in trouble. But also, you're also gonna make a lot of smoke if you leave with that oil on. So, oh, shit, it's hot. Obviously. Alright. So I'll put that back on the burner. Get it nice and hot. I have my potatoes, which are hot, because they're just out of the oil, and I add it straight to my egg. Why I got the eggs up to the room temp is very important, because of this moment right here. Now my eggs can bring up to temp and not sog up the potatoes, but I just kind of mix that in there, just like that, and I already added my salt, so it's already flavored. So that's already oiled as well. Turn this heat down. I'll actually take that off the heat because I know that pan is really hot right now. So my eggs are nice and warm, right into the pan, just like that. And then this is when I use the spatula. So those and that are done. Go to the spatula. And now I'm just molding it into tortilla. This, typically people will just call this tortilla, but then Americans like me will get it mixed up like, oh, tortilla is something you make tacos and burritos out of. But this is also called the tortilla. And you can tell my pan is so hot that I'm not even on the heat right now. So I'm molding it into a tortilla, and I'm just lifting it up. You see how I'm lifting it up and getting the raw egg? I'm getting the raw egg under it, so it doesn't. not burning the bottom, I'm constantly adding more raw egg to the bottom from the top. I'm tilting the pan, I'm lifting up the side, adding more egg to the bottom. I'm sculpting it. I'm waiting, see, now it's a little bit loose. Almost ready to flip. So I'm molding it, I'm gonna mold it a little bit more before I flip it, because I got time here. All right, looks like it's a little loose. So what I'll do now is I'll get it to the side of the pan I like, then I'll get the spatula right under, and then I'll just help myself with the spatula and flip it. Instead of just doing it one-handed like, you know, Johnny Bravo Kitchen Man or whatever, Mr. Show Off, you know, you get it right every time if you use that little bit of spatula help. And then now I just kind of mold it into a circle to get it really round and nice. People who do this differently, typically they'll have a lot of grease and oil just bubbling out of it right now. But you could tell mine is not as, you know, oily and greasy, because I don't really like it like that. So we did everything right. We had the oil hot, we drained it. Now we're just kind of molding it. And I'm just gonna flatten it out too, because I like it really just even Steven. And if you flatten it out, you could see how it kind of bubbles out some more egg over there. So it kind of helps you to push it out as well. I'll get it back on the heat over here. Just kind of push out all those little reservoirs of wet egg, and I'll just keep molding. Keep molding it. And I'm just gonna flip it just to check the side and see what it looks like. Again, so that's raw. And with the Spanish omelet or tortilla, you want this to be like, I know it sounds bad, but you want to almost burn the egg. You want like little like that. That's what's really gonna give it that flavor. I thought it was crazy at first, but the Spanish, this is how they do it. They kind of like burn the egg. And every time I'd make omelets for my Latino friends that I worked in the kitchen with, they always said, well done. And if I didn't burn the egg or caramelize it like this brown right here, if I didn't do that to their omelet, they wouldn't eat it. They didn't think it tasted good unless you did that. I think it's just a Spanish thing. They like to eat their eggs like that. The French like to eat it creamy and very, very at the brink of cooked, and Americans like big curd, you know, what have you. So it's all a preference, but if you want to do it the right way, you got to get a little bit of brown.
Hey, Rue.
On the egg.
Hey, bud.
So this is just about done here. And I could tell just by touching it that I don't have very much raw egg in there. The worst thing you want to do is go through all that effort and then you put this on a plate and you cut it and then all of a sudden it oozes out, which is fine. That's not a problem either, because if it's on the plate and you cut it and it oozes out, just put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. Microwaves cook eggs like you wouldn't believe. So it's not a crisis if you undercook it right now. See that? That's perfect color. That's exactly what you want. It's nice and crispy, so it has almost like that crunch. It's like a tortilla. So that side's perfect. We're gonna go ahead and just caramelize the back side just a little bit more before I put it on the plate. And cut it and ready to eat. Just all you breakfast mongers out there, you breakfast eaters. So this is good. This is perfect. Right into the pan it goes. We'll get that off the heat. I'll go ahead and bring it over here and I'll finish it off. So I chopped up my parsley before. So I just go ahead and sprinkle that parsley on there. I like parsley with eggs in the morning because it's got high nutrient density. It gives that fresh quality, you know. It just adds that open aroma to it. So a little bit of parsley, a little bit of paprika here. New paprika. this is gonna smell so good. Oh, gotta love it. And I'll just go ahead and dust that on nice and heavily. Kind of like pepper, but now you don't have to add pepper. I already added salt in there, so that's just like adding the pepper. So you can add pepper if you want, but that's pretty much how you have it. And I take a little pizza cutter here and just slice it up, and we're ready to eat. So let me just do a little taste test here for everyone to, and I'm just gonna eat right off this plate anyway, so I like to take the edge bites. These are my favorite part. So you can tell it's all no runny in there. The potatoes are cooked. And let's take a test.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Hot. Hot. And it's too hot for my hand to hold too. Very good. Who's ready to eat?
All right.